And welcome back to Strathpeffer Spa Model Railway. This update video is going to be made of a number of clips taken throughout the month as progress continues. So let's have a look and pan round to the station and see how we're getting on. So I'm looking at the station now. The actual platforms are now complete, and I got my final delivery of Will's kit Victorian paving through the other day, so I've had a bit of time and I've been able to finish the paving, and now the actual building of the platforms is finished. The areas in which there are cork, so the platform out to your left and to the near ground at the right, you'll see it's still left in cork. The plan there is to use Woodland Scenic's fine ballast. I'll use a blended mix, and I will put the ballast down to represent sort of stone chipping. And then along this area here, along the platform edge, I'm going to run a sort of white picket fence that was stereotypical of the time. On this line, like previously discussed in the last video, I plan on moving this line slightly to the back of the layout and then having it run round here to where the buffer stops are. This will allow me to have a little bit more storage space on the layout, but it'll also give me the opportunity in the future to build the Highland Rail goods shed that was present at Strathpeffer during its operational time. Continuing on from there, I plan on painting the actual platforms up, so the next stage is going to be setting down some primer, and once that is done, I will then move on to actually painting up the stonework and the paving, and then finish it off with a number of coats of varnish, weathering and varnish again. Moving on from there, I've started to started to fit point motors. So these 2 points have now been fitted with point motors. And what I'm doing is I'm using a technique that I saw on New Junction. So I've got my point motor. I'm using the fitting technique used by Moorway South with the Velcro. What I'm doing is I'm using this polystyrene card, which is approximately 3 mils thick, cutting it into strips, and then I'm putting a little spacer in the centre to centre the actual changing bar, the changing lever just here. And that then keeps it in place until I wire them all up, hook them up to a power source, and then I can remove them. The method of actually fitting them, I saw it on New Junction like I said previously, and what I'm doing is I'm using this vice pin. Again, you will see it on New Junction if you go and look, but taking the vice pin, and then I'm simply just drilling a small pilot hole through the tie bar like so, and then I'm using a number of different drill bits, starting off with the 3mm drill bit up to the 6mm, and then finally on the actual drill itself is the 8mm drill bit, and I'm going in through underneath the baseboard, so we're going in from underneath. Now, be warned, you need to make sure that you're paying attention and being patient. If not, what you'll do is you'll blow out your point like I have done here. So you can see where that one came from, spot the difference, you can see the brand new point there. Basically I wasn't really watching what I was doing, not paying attention, and I literally drilled right through the tie bars and the actual turnout. So that point is now knackered. Luckily I had a few points left in storage there, so I was able to quickly replace it, not a problem. However, just a point to watch out for if you are going to use that method. So I'm now going to continue fitting the points, and we'll see how we get on, and I'll give you an update once it's done. So at this stage, all the point motors have now been fitted, and as you can see here, I've used long strips of the opposite side of the Velcro along here to give me lots of space to adjust should I need to if the point motors aren't correctly fitted. Please excuse the wiring just now. Obviously I've not tidied up the bus wires yet, as I'm still in the process of wiring up. So all the point motors are now fitted, and there's a couple more over here. I now need to just go through the rigmarole of wiring them up. So that'll be the next stage. I'll put the bus wire in for the 12 or 16 volt current to power the actual motors, and then we'll get them all hooked up, and hopefully we'll be able to successfully test the point motors. Fingers crossed. Okay, just a quick look on top again. As you can see now, I've adjusted the track plan slightly with regards to the two storage sidings. I have slightly pushed the far siding out, adjusted the dropper wires, which then allowed it to run into the side of the platform there. I've then taken this one and again I've pushed it a few mils over towards the back of the layout, again just to give me a bit more space between the lines, and now I'm very happy with that side of the track plan. Next, what I'm going to do is we're going to get the station platforms primed up, and we'll continue on, like I said, with the bus wire for the point motors. Right folks, progress continues as you can see. So what we've done so far is we have now primed all the plastic parts of the platform, so that's the platform walls and the paving on the top. We've also painted the baseboard in an earth colour mixed with a little bit of black. For that I was using Woodland Scenics earth undercoat and black. Now just for future reference, I don't think I'd use these again. I think I would just use a couple of acrylic tubes from your local craft shop or model shop, as the Woodland Scenic stuff is quite expensive, and the stuff you can source locally will be rather inexpensive and potentially give you just the same effect. So I'll be doing that in the future. But as you can see now, it's definitely coming along. So the next stages for the platform will be to actually paint the sandstone work and the paving tops. For the paving tops I'm going to be using Tamiya, so we've got a couple of colours here. That's Tamiya acrylic. I might go get another couple colour choices from the Dingwall Sports Model Shop later on, just to mix. But for the sandstone, if you go on to Simon Jones's channel and check out his videos, he does a good video on painting sandstone in one of his Workbench Wednesday videos. If you check that out, he uses these Humbrol enamel paints, which I've tested already on a watershed I was doing for a previous layout, and it works quite well. So I'm going to use these, mix them up with a bit of thinner, and we'll paint up the actual platform sides to get hopefully a good result. So that's where we are now folks, and we'll continue on and we'll hopefully make a bit more progress. Progress continues at Strathpeffer Spa Model Railway, and as you can see I've been quite busy and I've constructed a new and smaller fiddle yard. This fiddle yard is 1 metre by 180 millimetres. Two reasons for making this fiddle yard mainly. First one, the smaller fiddle yard is more convenient and easier to manoeuvre into place than the original. My original fiddle yard, which remains underneath the model railway, is 2 metres by 400 millimetres, and I know it's something that I've not shown that often on my videos. However, the reason for this is it's a bit cumbersome to get into place, and to actually fit it to the model railway I need to pull the model railway further into the centre of the room and then have the rest of the fiddle yard shooting out this door and into the hallway, which isn't convenient for family members trying to get around into other rooms of the house and the bathroom. So I decided to use spare wood and offcuts from the original build and construct this new and smaller fiddle yard. So what we're doing is we've got a 3-way point and we've got some flexi track, so this will give me 3 roads into a central point which will then feed into the model railway, which will allow me shunting manoeuvres and trains departing from the station, which is ideal for the setup I've got in the house just now. The second and probably the main reason for building this smaller fiddle yard is that my family and I are on the move. We are having to move south mainly for work reasons, and we are packing everything up and moving on. So don't worry folks, the model railway is coming with me. However, progress will stop for a month or two while we get ourselves established in our new home. But once we're established and everything is settled down, progress will continue on Strathpeffer Spa Railway, and from then hopefully I'll be able to start churning videos out towards the end of August, start of September. Fingers crossed. So this is the old DMU Class 101 driving car that you may remember from the last video. It's the Triang version, and as you can see what I've done is I've started to try and attempt add a bit of detail to it. This is the remains of an old Class 37 detailing pack. Some of the items were broken, so I decided to bodge them onto the front, in an attempt to bring it up to sort of the modern standard. It's not exactly accurate to prototypical, I know, however it just gives it a bit more detail and makes it look a bit more modern. So I've added a coupling hook with a few brake pipes and a couple of jumper cables there. Down the side of the bogies, from Peter's Spares, you can't quite see it on the camera, it's not really picking it up, but I've added the footsteps to allow the driver and ground crews to get into the actual vehicle itself. Again, they were only £1.90 off eBay, and I thought, for a bit of detail, why not? I've added a bit of yellow paint to the bearing hubs, again, just to pick out the detail on it. Now, I was looking to try and replace the missing running gear, which was in the centre of the model. However, it was going to prove too expensive, so I decided not to. And what I've used, as you can see, is just a bit of polystyrene, which I've painted black with acrylic paints and then stuck to the underneath. The plan then is now to make a tarpaulin using PVA glue and tissue paper sheets, which I did for another model again, and I'll put that over the centre of this model to make it look like the DMU car is sitting in the siding awaiting restoration. So that is progress so far, and if we look to the rear of the loco, excuse the camera work, I've also fitted exhaust pipes, again just to add a little bit more detail and make it look a bit more like its counterpart in the real world. So this little project will continue on the sidelines when I've got a spare minute or two here or there, and we'll continue on with it, but it's not looking too bad, as you can see. So as you can see now, I've used Woodland Scenics black and earth tone pigments to paint the actual baseboard, and it's just adding a little bit more depth and giving you a feel for the actual sort of scenery, and you can see the track plan a little bit better. Just got a bit carried away. I was originally just going to do this half of the model, but decided, what the heck, let's just get the whole thing painted up. Some of it is going to get covered and it's not going to remain this colour. Obviously I've got to start putting in ballast and grass, etc., and build up the different sort of tones and textures as the model progresses. But that's where we're sitting so far with the actual baseboard and getting that painted up. It's looking quite good, and I'm starting to get really happy with the model side of things. At this time, we're still needing to fit the point motors. What I've actually done is, due to the house move being quite imminent, I've actually removed all the point motors, which was easily done because, if you remember, they're attached by Velcro, numbered them up so they're according to the points and the holes, and then they'll easily be put back on when I get established in the new house. So I'm going to do the rest of the actual wiring when I get down the road. Okay, so at this point the painting of the station platform is complete, and if we go in for a closer look now, we can see there that I've picked out all the sandstone brickwork using a number of colours from the Humbrol enamel range. I then used Humbrol acrylic gloss to varnish over it, and then I used some thinned down enamel paints to bleed in between the brickwork, giving it that sort of effect there that you can see now. Again, the same sort of technique was used for the paving. I used Tamiya acrylic light grey and deck tan, and then I used the Humbrol enamel gloss varnish, and then I bled in some dark washes to get the colour between the actual paving slabs, which is what we've got now, and I think you'll agree that the outcome is quite good. Quite an easy technique to use, and one that I would certainly recommend. So the next thing for the station platforms will be to put the gravel areas in towards the end of that station ramp there, and the one closest to me now, which is this one here, and that will be done in Woodland Scenics fine ballast, and I'll do a mix of brown and grey. So I've placed the station building back on the platforms now, just to get an idea and a feel for what the scene looks like now. And as you can see, I'm actually quite happy with what I've got here. So with the back scene giving us a bit of depth in the background, and then the station building and the station platforms themselves really starting to come alive now and look a bit more than just a little bit of plastic. So very happy with what we've achieved so far, and I look forward to continuing on with the progress on the scenic side once the dust has settled from the house move Okay, a new arrival to Strathpeffer Spa Model Railway today is the Bachmann 060 LMS Ginty Class 3F. Now this is the sound fitted as standard model, which I've had on pre-order for about a year and a half. It was meant to come out in February, but it got postponed till this month, and it came in the post today. I'd completely forgotten about this, so I was quite surprised when it came to the door this morning. So I look forward to getting this running on the layout again once we move back south. And again, sound, so it will add an extra little depth to the model railway. So look forward to seeing that on the layout, folks. Okay folks, as you see now, the layout has been collapsed and is all packed away, ready for the removals to arrive tomorrow. Hopefully when we get to the other end, everything arrives in the state I sent it in. Fingers crossed. So thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the content of this video, then feel free to like. Also check out previous videos and previous updates of the layout. Feel free to also subscribe. Very much appreciate you guys subscribing. That's us now reached 50 subscribers, which I know is nothing to some of the larger channels, but for this channel just starting out a few months ago, you know, it's fantastic. So thanks very much to all you who have subscribed, and feel free to do so if you haven't done so already. Feel free to leave a comment, I shall endeavour to get back to you, and I look forward to hopefully posting new videos come September time. Guys, have a great summer, thanks for watching, take care, enjoy yourselves, and we'll catch up with you in September time.